Hello, Achievers, and welcome to Next Level Authors episode.
Yeah!
Right. Hello, Achievers, and welcome to the Next Level Authors podcast, episode 19, a podcast where we hold each other to account and track our step-by-step progress as we level up our author businesses. My name's Sacha Black, and here with me every week is...
Daniel Wilcox.
And you're actually here in real life!
Boom. Hello. I'm impressed you got that intro as well. This is weird doing it this way around.
I know, it's a bit unnerving.
It feels a bit claustrophobic, because normally you've got all this room to spread out on podcasts, and now it's
I know. And I'm like, should I look at you, or like, should I look at the screen, or...
I don't know, it's good that we're working this out live on air. Yeah. Like, should we televising it? Yeah, let's look at the camera, because that feels more comfortable, and occasionally we can do a little bit of...
Yeah. Oh, wait, okay, so what are we doing? Right, okay, housekeeping. How have you been since the last couple of days that we haven't been on the podcast? This is going so well.
It's been three days since we recorded, so we
haven't...
Did
we record Friday?
We recorded Saturday this week.
Oh, yeah, okay. So it's Tuesday today. Tuesday, the 4th of August, as we record this in person, live.
Yeah, which means we haven't got any of your comments yet, but we'll do a double comment episode next time. I was going to say week. At some point. This is going really well.
This is going excellent. So this in-person podcast shit, we should do that in future.
To be all right, let's set the scene. So we met up this morning. You came to my house at about 10:30, and we have literally been solid, like planning businesses and looking at our strategy for our own businesses, for things to do with this podcast.
Joint businesses.
Joint stuff, which is already really exciting. So we are a little bit fried at this point, and we were originally going to record the podcast at the beginning of the day.
Yeah.
But we decided...
Some silly prick had the idea of doing it in the afternoon.
But it's a good idea, because we thought we'd use this episode to share some of the things that we've learned, some of how we've approached what this day has brought to us, because I
think we're in a different place this afternoon than we were this morning.
Yes, yeah, it's been really, really useful. And I think that it probably goes to highlight, or this episode should go to highlight how useful it is to have an accountability partner, someone that you like bounce ideas off of with, and just the idea of what's good to have a mastermind, because as most writers just tend to spend lots of time by themselves, this proves that this is quite a good idea to actually have someone to use as a sounding board.
Yeah, use. I do feel used. No, I'm joking. I don't.
Good, because I'm done. Get out.
Yeah. This is over, people. No, I'm joking. Okay, and I like, to be honest, I echo all of those things, and I'm just glad I got here and it was exactly the same as it is on the podcast, and we're not gonna divorce each other from the podcast anytime soon, so you know. Yeah,
it feels, like I say, this feels a bit weird, because this is the closest we've been.
I know.
And
2 meters, Daniel.
Yeah, I know,
2 meters.
And but yeah, it doesn't feel a lot different to actually like when we talk on the podcast and like every freaking day of the week. Yeah. So that's a good thing. Like, don't worry, guys. This podcast is still going to be going ahead as planned.
Yeah. Unlucky you. No, I'm joking. Forever and a day. No.
You know how cringe this is going to be when we watch this back in 2 years time.
And then we've done all of the extra other things. Okay, so what have you been enjoying? Which is going to be really hard because it's only been 3 days. Yeah. I've got something though.
You go first.
Okay, so I mentioned the Conlang thing last time, and I've continued to fall down that rabbit hole, and I've been reading David J. Peterson's novel called The Art of Constructing Language, and I have fallen down a rabbit hole, and I don't know how to get back out of the rabbit hole, but the book is fantastic, and I really enjoy delving into a subject really deeply. And although, you know how they say about jack of all trades, master of none. Yeah. So I feel like most indies are masters of being an indie, but for the most part we are jack of all trades, because we have to do everything. We have to do everything. What a word!
Marketing, business, finance, craft.
Thanks. It's hard. Words are harder. Words are hard at this time of day.
Don't even know why I picked that up.
Yeah. Oh, it's just like sound effects.
Yeah, we're jack of all trades.
Yeah, we're jack of all trades. But I love that because it gives me the opportunity to like delve into weird things. So, you know, like my obsession with going into abandoned undergrounds or, you know, researching
lampposts.
Yeah, exactly. And this, I just feel like this is another one of those things that I'm falling into a rabbit hole, and I will do some research, and eventually some part of it will make its way into a book or a series or whatever. So yeah, I'm just really enjoying delving into a topic that I knew nothing about, and I'm learning loads, and I love learning. So
it's going to be really interesting when you invent your own language.
I know.
Go down that one.
Yeah.
So my thing I've been enjoying, and it's not a new thing I've been enjoying because it's probably the 10th time I've rewatched it, but there's a 3-episode series on Netflix called Middleditch and Schwartz. And it's, I don't know if you've seen it all, but it's literally half an hour-ish, completely improvised comedy special. So it's 2 actors that people will probably be familiar with from Silicon Valley and Parks and Recreation and a host of other things. And they literally come on stage, take inspiration from the audience, get a scenario, get some characters, and then they just improv for like half an hour, 45 minutes. And as someone with a bit of a drama background, and I've done like little bits of improv here and there, they are really good at it, and they're really funny people, and they create these really diverse characters very quickly, and it's just easy watching. So I've just watched that quite a few times while doing other things, just because they make me giggle, and their dynamic is fantastic. It's very similar to ours.
Except we're better.
Yeah, of course.
Did you ever see, I can't remember if it was Britain's Got Talent or something like that, one of the talent shows, it may have been an American one, and the improv group came on, and they literally took the words that the audience basically came up with, and then they created this song about Britain's Got Talent.
Nice.
It was the best. I'm going to look for it on YouTube for you because it was phenomenal.
There was a guy that used to live in, because I used to go to a lot of open mic nights in Lincoln, and there was a guy that used to run some of the nights, and he was that person. He like at the end of each evening, he'd get loads of random ones. He'd just spin it into a song, and it would be
so impressive.
Love when people do that. Yeah.
It blows my mind. I'm not going to lie. Okay, confessional. Did we prepare for today?
Yes. Yes, we did.
Yes, we did. I definitely prepared, but really struggled to prepare in the way that you prepared. I feel like you were really well prepared for today, which is really unusual because I'm actually a really prepared person.
Well, the thing is, I don't think it didn't take me long. I didn't do loads. I just tried to like hit the key things that I thought would be useful. Because obviously when and we'll probably go into this in more depth, but when we're looking at what we're going to do over the next few months, are we hitting whatever? I basically just took stock of what the goals were that I'd set out in older episodes, and then tried to just see where I was at with them, so that we could look at when we came to like creating action plans, we could then filter them and make sure they're pushing in the right direction. Because there's no point working on a project if it's not going to actually like benefit one of your main goals.
Yeah, exactly. Although goals do change sometimes.
Yeah.
As we've both seen. Okay, so the question of the week this week is slightly different because we're not going to be... we are kind of asking each other, and also I've completely forgotten the wording. But, okay, fuck it, let's just...
Next level check-in.
Yes, that's it, next level check-in. So it's not really a question, more of a statement. But as this is the Next Level Author podcast, we have to be the people that we say we're going to be, which means we have to be accountable for our progress. And not only our progress, but how we are doing towards our next level. So I don't know if you want to talk through today or talk through, like, I don't know, you go, like, just go.
Yeah, so I'll say... We went on a call last week and we tried to plan out what the main points that we wanted to hit with would be, because obviously there's going to be 1,000 different things that we could do, and we don't want to we wouldn't physically be able to fit everything that we wanted to talk about into the session. So I think we both picked a priority of what we wanted to look at, and mine personally, and it's something that I'm sure will be reflected in previous episodes of this podcast and the Great Writer Share as well, my other podcast, do check it out, and and it's not even Great Writer Share, it's Devil's Rock. Meg Cowley, fantasy cover.
Have you ever actually announced that your anthology on here? You should talk about that.
I'm sure I mentioned it. I can do a little plug at the end.
Yeah, okay. I think so.
But yeah, so the main thing that I wanted to hit on was sustainability, and to look at a actual
production schedule.
Schedule.
I got you back. Don't worry.
Yeah, I forgot what the P word was. Production schedule. So I've now got essentially. I need to formalise it and write it all up, but I've got an outline of the projects I'm going to be attacking for the next, for the rest of this year, And then a few things that I was thinking of jumping into very soon are now being put on the back burner because they don't actually feed into the overall goal of what I'm trying to achieve. And I guess it just provided a large amount of clarity of direction. So rather than sitting there each morning and going, I've got these 6-7 things that are floating around, I can now go, no, this is what I'm doing this week. And I've essentially got a week by week action plan until middle of December, including rests.
Yes, you do.
Which
yes,
once I put the calendar together, did not put on.
No. I made sure he did, though. Don't worry. Yeah, you're welcome. It's fine.
But yeah, so that was my big one. And I think that was I did have another point, but because of what we worked out in the morning, that got pushed into next year. So yeah, that's my big takeaway, actually, having considerable amount of time bouncing ideas off of each other, trying to work out how to fit everything in that I'd like to achieve by the end of this year.
Which I can,
because two of my points, one of them, two of my goals that I announced on episode 10 of things I wanted to finish in 2020, and the reason I'm looking down, I do have paper here just for people on YouTube.
Yeah.
Is one of them was to finish When Winter Comes, and with any luck I should be able to it will happen. I will publish the final episode on December 2nd, and then I can look into box setting and doing all that kind of stuff. And then another one of my points was writing my second non-fiction, so I've actually got time scheduled in to have that done by the end of the year.
Thanks to me.
Ironically, on productivity. I say it's not really ironic because I need to be productive to make this fucking happen.
You are obscenely productive. Come on, give me a break.
What was one of your big...
Oh no, well, are you going to talk about how you have already kind of you've leveled up, haven't you? Because you
kind of. So one of my main next level I wanted to hit that we announced in the first level was to hit 2,500 gross income per month. And at the minute, so far from April to July, I am averaging that. I'm averaging a little above that, 2,600 a month. There are some factors that may lower that over the next few months as royalties on certain things dip. But with any luck, I'll be able to keep that going and hopefully have that as a full year.
High five.
Nearly spilled my coffee on my crutch.
High five, buddy. Well done, you. Okay, so I was focusing on my fiction for the day. And I think... mostly I needed to talk round in circles, really, didn't I?
You just needed to
just vomit.
Clear out the attic.
Yeah, I did. So I was much less structured in terms of the things that I was talking about. But in the end, I've got to...
Seems very uncharacteristic for both of us.
Really?
I feel like it should have been the other way around.
Yeah, I do too.
I think we're learning a lot about ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because also, even in terms of the day, I was less prepared, and normally I'm the more prepared one and more structured one.
Yeah, what's that about?
I don't know. Anyway. As long as we're not fucking merging, it's fine. Okay, so I was... I was talking about the fiction, and basically Dan came up with an amazing idea, which was to finish my current series, so the young adults series that I'm working on the third book of, in the next book. And literally, how much did my mind explode? My mind
You went in another place for a few minutes. I said some things and you just said not register them.
I didn't. I did what you did to me the other day on the podcast, where you just stopped listening.
You snapped out. I was like, sorry, you have to say all of that again. Yeah. I did not. I'm just having a moment.
Yeah, I did have a proper moment.
It's a good moment to have, though. Yeah.
Yeah, so basically my series, instead of being 5 books, is going to be 4 books, and the last book will probably be a little bit longer just to ensure that I've covered all of the threads. But as a result, it means that the next book is my last book, and this makes me very excited because it means I can start a new series and get a new line of book products, basically. So yes, that is a huge revelation, and it also means that my goals for the rest of the year are changing because... I hadn't anticipated, because I thought there were still 2 more books in the series, I was going to shunt doing book 4 into next year. But it feels like it makes sense to just finish the series now there's only 1 more book. So I'm going to finish book 3 this month, hopefully, and then I will work on the prequel, which is only short, and then I will go in and work on book 4. So that's awesome.
You dropped your pencil.
I did. I'm just gesturing liberally. Yeah, okay.
Couldn't have got away with that if we were over the webcam.
No. And
that sounded creepier than it was.
Yeah, it kind of did. Yeah, bye, taxi for one. And the other thing, last night, before I got here, but it feels like that decision has also spurred some of the focus and the way that I've thought about today. I am giving up editing, for good, permanently. I will no longer edit anything for anyone. I am working on one manuscript right now, and when that is done, it is done. So it's a removal of an income stream, which is always a worry, but also I just felt relief when I made the decision, and I've pulled the page off my website and I have taken it out of my autoresponder. And and the reason I've done it is multiple. It takes a lot of time and a lot of energy, and the same energy, creative energy, that I'm using in my books. And I feel frustrated that it's a one-to-one helping, whereas if I do courses or books, I can help one-to-many. So, yeah. It's
exciting. It's nice when you can actually put your foot down and make a particular decision, because that just removes the weight of trying to work out whether or not it's right.
Well, my critique partner said, she made an interesting observation yesterday. She said that she felt like that decision had been brewing for a really long time, and that she feels like
they sneak up on you.
Yeah, well, she said she feels like I make a lot of I brew subconsciously for a really long time, and then I have a tantrum and I make a snap decision, which rings a lot of bells, if I'm honest. So I feel like I have learned something new about myself. So and also the launch, in terms of the financial goals, I've definitely leveled up since I launched Prose, and next month we'll level up again. But like you, it's sustaining that's the issue, and ensuring that that I sustain that level of income, because obviously whenever you have a launch, sales go up and then they peter down inevitably, because you don't get that boost permanently. So I'm hoping that the course will bridge some of that. And then once I have finished the series, I will be able to market that a bit more because it's finished. But we'll see.
It was really interesting actually seeing, and again, this kind of, I guess, comes back to why these kind of days are good, but to have someone else's fingers working your brain matter and trying to understand your side of the business, and actually having someone who gets the ins and outs of it, because we've been through this before, with my ex-partners, or even with friends and stuff, no one gets the business that we're in other than people who are in this business. And I'm sure that listeners will feel the same. So to have that kind of sounding board, and it was really interesting from my perspective to see you talk about your fiction, and some of the things that to me were fairly obvious obviously aren't to you, because it's vice versa, because there were moments to me when you were this is fucking add rest, you moron. But there are those things where just being that extra set of eyes is just useful to unlocking some of the things that you've just forgotten.
I also think it helps, though, that we are in an incredibly similar position, across the whole board. It's just in different areas, our businesses are slightly different, but so similar. We're at such similar points. So I think that also really helps. Especially
if one of us suddenly takes off and succeeds, then it's going to screw everything.
I know, that's it. It's over.
Next level, I'm done.
Bye. I've achieved all my levels. Fuck you, bye. So I guess that is our day, and we are recommending. Do we want to say anything about the things that are coming up for us as a team?
Yes.
Okay. You do it.
We're two, so we can take one each.
Oh, okay. You take the one that you're excited about.
Okay.
Go on then.
Okay, so we are currently in talks, and this is all hypothetical.
In talks.
We are currently in talks. This is all hypothetical. It's probably not going to happen. We are currently exploring the idea of a next level author summit, which would basically be a weekend in which we have lots of people and we do stuff. And I don't think we want to say too much about it, but at the minute, I've had some really cool ideas. You dick. We've had some really really cool ideas, and
I think I added the clincher, but no, I'm joking.
Oh no, that was a good idea. But without sort of throwing too much mystery and intrigue.
We are such arseholes.
Yeah. Yeah, a little bit. But also, I think one thing I want to be conscious of, and when we do this, I think we want to find a way to add our own unique spin to it. We want to add like our own unique selling point. And I think we've got some really cool ideas for ways that we can experiment with the conference format and add our own NLA spin. Do you want to get the wife? This is our time. Tell that bitch to hang on.
I am so playing her this on the podcast. It's so funny.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So we've got some really cool ideas for what we could do.
Yeah.
We probably wouldn't be looking until somewhere around 2022.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of other things that we need to be focusing on first. But yeah, as an idea that's floating, it's something that I'm very excited about.
Yeah, I'm also equally excited, especially about the cool little USPs that we've got. And the other thing that we have already floated a little bit is the idea of writing retreats that would be kind of next level author, rebellious, villainous kind of, well, not villainous, but, retreats where, I don't know, how much more can we say about those?
Yeah, I think similarly to the summit, we're going to find a way to add our spin onto it.
And that's really, I think, the key point is we really want it to be, us.
Yeah, and again, that's just talks. In a minute, we're doing like bits of research and whatnot. So there's nothing secure that we can tell people, but
except that it's going to happen.
Except it's going to happen.
Yeah. Probably in 2021, I would say this one. Although later, and obviously
between every other event.
Yeah, between the other events and pandemic dependent.
What pandemic?
Yeah, that's not. Okay, so how are we levelling up our author businesses this week?
So I've got to be productive.
You have to write up your production schedule.
I need to write up my production schedule and find a way that I will stick to it, because that's the key really for the rest of the year for me.
You'll stick to it because I'm going to hold you to account every fucking week.
Cool, done. Hey.
I was that nervous under the collar just then,
I'm going to go through, we've got a bunch of like actions and things that have come out today, so I'm going to go through all those, process those, and get to work. I'm trying to think if there's a measurable...
words.
Yeah, I'll just say that I'll stick to the schedule for the next one, because...
Yeah, it's kind of hard to work out until we've gone back and process. Because also this is going to be like 2
weeks ahead, which will be the next check-in for us, because... this is for next week, and then there'll be
Okay, so this week, so this week I'm going to finish the client edit, my last ever edit ever, by the next time that we record, and I'm going to process everything that we have talked about, because I still feel like I have to go away and do some thinking, and I'm going to write up an action plan as well, because I think some of the, like on some of the genre tasks that I've got, I feel like there's loads more I can brain dump into them. So what did I just say?
Finish editing
and
expand on your learning.
Process and action plan.
I think there's a lot of digesting after you leave.
Yes.
One thing
you've fallen into a coma of exhaustion.
One thing you can add as well is move mailing provider.
Fuck.
Because that was a goal months ago, I think.
Shut up.
And you worded it cleverly enough that it wasn't a forfeitable goal.
That's true, I did. I was very, very sly with that. Yeah. Before we wrap up, just to touch on what you said earlier, I cannot remember if I announced this on the podcast, but I have, as part of Devil's Rock Publishing, I am putting together my first anthology through the company. It's called The Other Side, and it centers all around specifically horror and dark stories all around the other side of death. So more so looking at ghosts and rituals and monsters that come from resurrection, that kind of thing. The deadline for that is August the 30th. So by the time this airs, that'll probably leave you 2 weeks to come up with a story. It's between 5,000 and 10,000 words. If you want to get involved, it's at devilsrockpublishing.com. And I will add that I'm also been incredibly overwhelmed by the amount of submissions. I've got to read through them, which also we didn't factor into my productivity. But to be fair, I just read in the evenings anyway, so it's fine. But if anyone wants to get involved, I'll put a link in the show notes. You will. It's your turn. Fuck. Link in the show notes.
Write it down.
Link in the show notes. I haven't put what the link is though, so that's not going to help.
Just put DRP.
DRP.
DRP. Drip.
Yes, and unfortunately we'll be back next week. No.
We won't be. Well, we will be on the podcast.
Yeah, we will be.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, so do yourselves a favour and go have like a business day with your podcast co-host.
Yeah, with whoever you choose. It doesn't even have to be in person, but even just like putting some dedicated time to throw some ideas past each other. And like you said, I think it's much more important that someone is on your level as opposed to you just doing it with anyone, because I feel like this could be equally damaging if you're doing it with someone that's just not on your wavelength.
Yeah, I completely agree, because I think otherwise it's all one way. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? Like if somebody's above you, mostly they're going to be giving to you, whereas if the person is below you, you're mostly going to be giving to them. So yeah, I think by us being in similar positions, it's made it a really juicy day.
Yeah, beautiful.
Okie dokie. So I guess our question to you is how because how long have we been doing this? 4 months? 3 months?
19 episodes has gone up to 5 months.
5 months?
Yeah, almost. Probably 4.5.
Yeah, so in the time that you have been listening to this podcast...
No matter when you started listening.
Yes, no matter when you started listening, even if it was last week, even if this is your first episode. What have you done during this episode? No, I'm joking. How is your levelling up going? Do you feel like you're making progress? Do you feel like you're not making progress? Or do you feel like you smashed it out of the park? Let us know.
Yeah, and we did say we were going to do these in-person ones pretty much like quarterly now.
Oh, are we actually?
That's what we said.
I have to see you again.
Yeah, it's going to happen.
Oh. I'm joking.
Though I don't have your address.
No. Yeah, you do. Do you not? Too bad.
No, tell us what it is.
Yeah, right. Okay. Yeah, so we'll have to do it at my house next time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Awesome.
All right, then. I'll see you next week.
Thanks for joining us. Bye.
Bye.